Hi, welcome to this Blender video tutorial entitled Blender Lighting HemiLamp. Blender's HemiLamp is a generally directional source of illumination. To demonstrate Blender's HemiLamp, I've placed in my scene a model sculpture and a base placed on a flat plane. The sculpture has a gold material attached to it, the base a model blue material, and the plane a cherry wood texture. In the World Editor, I have added a blue blended sky gradient. I've split my 3D editor into two windows, placing the UV image editor on the right, and I've set the render output to display the rendered image in this UV image editor. I'll render the scene. As the scene has no lighting objects, the sky is displayed, leaving the sculpture, base, and plane in silhouette. I'll place my 3D cursor in the top viewport and add a HemiLamp object. In front view, I'll move it to about the height of the camera. I'll then rotate it in front view so that the HemiLamp is focused on the sculpture object. I'll switch to side view and rotate the HemiLamp here as well. The HemiLamp is now fully focused on the sculpture object. I'll then render the scene. The HemiLamp provides a soft, uniform, generally directional light source of constant intensity. It simulates a diffuse light from a 180-degree hemisphere, in effect a glowing hemisphere of illumination. Like the sun lamp, the HemiLamp has no fall-off effect. Thus, its distance from any object in the scene is irrelevant. The HemiLamp's icon in the 3D viewport editor is a black dot with a dashed circle around it, with a dashed curved lines forming the tip of a hemisphere. Since the HemiLamp's position relative to the scene objects is irrelevant, I can move the HemiLamp anywhere in the scene, and so long as the rotation angle is not changed, the lighting effect will be the same. Here I will move the HemiLamp below the table plane object and off to the side. I'll then re-render the scene. Note that the position of the HemiLamp has no effect on the rendering of the scene. On the other hand, the direction or angle of the HemiLamp has a significant effect on the rendering. I will go to top view and rotate the HemiLamp so that it is pointing in the negative X direction. I'll go to front view and do the same. The HemiLamp is now pointing directly perpendicular to the sculpture, pointing in the negative X direction, which is the general direction of the camera as well. I'll render the scene. Note that the objects are lit directly from the front in relationship to the camera. Note also the diffuse nature of the directional light. The top of the table and the top of the base are illuminated. This is in contrast to the sunlight, which also serves as a directional source of light. I'll select Render Slot 2 and go back to my 3D viewport. I'll click on the Object Data icon in the Properties panel, which displays the HemiLamp controls. I'll switch the HemiLamp for a sun lamp in the same position, and then render the scene. Note the sun lamp's parallel rays do not illuminate the tabletop and the base top. I'll press my J key to look at the earlier rendering of the HemiLamp. Here the tabletop and the base top are illuminated because the HemiLamp's rays are more diffuse than the parallel rayed sun lamp. I'll return to my 3D viewport. In front view, I'll rotate the HemiLamp around the y-axis 45 degrees. And then render the scene. Because of the soft yet somewhat directional quality of the HemiLamp, it is often used to fill shadows, provide general illumination, or create a color wash for the scene. There are very few controls available for the HemiLamp. Those that do exist are common to all the Blender lamp objects, and I've demonstrated a number of them in the point lamp and sun lamp video tutorials. The HemiLamp's color can be changed by adjusting the color swatch. Its energy or intensity can be adjusted by increasing or decreasing the energy control. Like the point and sun lamps, the HemiLamp also has the negative, this layer, specular, and diffuse checkboxes. Unlike all of the other Blender lamp types, the HemiLamp has no capacity to create shadows. It can, however, have a texture applied to it. With the HemiLamp selected, I will click on the texture icon in the Properties panel. I'll add a new texture and select Image or Movie as the texture type. I'll then click on the Open button and select the explosion20.jpg image located on my desktop. In the Mapping panel, I'll set the X, Y, and Z size to 0.3, in effect zooming out of the explosion pattern. I'll then render the scene. Note that the explosion image is projected on the objects. Both my sculpture and the table plane have a slight mirror effect on their materials. I'll select the sculpture object, go to the Materials Editor, and turn on the mirror effect. I'll do the same thing with the table plane object. I'll then render the scene.